Arras is the capital of the Pas-de-Calais department, which is half of Nord-Pas-de-Calais, France's unregistered trademark's fourth most populous region. It is located in northern France on the Scarpe River. The Arras plain lies on a large chalk plateau bordered on the north by the Marqueffles fault, on the southwest by the Artois and Ternois hills, and on the south by the slopes of Beaufort-Blavincourt. On the east it is connected to the Scarpe Valley. Established during the Iron Age by the Gauls, the town of Arras was first known as Nemetocenna, which is believed to have originated from the Celtic word nemeton, meaning sacred space. The first mention of the name Arras appeared in the 12th century. Some hypothesize it is a contraction of Atrebates, a Belgic tribe of Gaul and Britain that used to inhabit the area. The name Atrebates could have successively evolved to become Atrades, Atrades, Arras and finally Arras. Others believe it comes from the Celtic word ar, meaning running water, as the Scarpe River flows through Arras. Arras is Pas-de-Calais' unregistered trademark third most populous town after Calais and Boulogne-sur-Mer. The town counted 43,693 residents in 2012, with the Arras metropolitan area having a population of 124,200. Arras is located 182 kilometers north of Paris and can be reached in 2 hours by car and in 50 minutes by TGV. It is the historic center of the former Artois province. Its local speech is characterized as a patois. The city of Arras is well known for its architecture, culture, and history. It was once part of the Spanish Netherlands, a portion of the Low Countries controlled by Spain from 1556 to 1714. Each year Arras attracts thousands of visitors, who explore the city's architecture and historic buildings. Some famous attractions include the splendid town hall and its belfry, the Boves, the squares, the art district, the abbey district, the Vauban citadel, and the Nemetocenna site. Unlike many French words, the final S in the name Arras should be pronounced. History Prehistory Archaeologists found evidence of prehistoric human settlements in the Scarpe Basin. The archaeological sites of Mont Saint-Vaast in Arras and Biage Saint-Vaast were Stone Age settlements of the Mysterian culture. They were evidenced by the finds of stone tools. These tools show signs of the lever-loess technique, a name given by archaeologists to a distinctive type of stone knapping, developed by precursors to modern humans during the Paleolithic period 170,000 years ago. Very little was found to document the Bronze Age and early Iron Age in the Arras area. Antiquity Foundation Arras was founded on the boat of Bourdimont by the Belgic tribe of the Atrebates, who named it Nemetocenna in reference to a nemeton that probably existed there. It was later renamed Nemeticum Atrebatum by the Romans, under whom it became an important garrison town. In the Scarpe Valley, archaeologists' excavations and data recovery revealed late Iron Age settlements. These buildings, believed to be farms, were found near the municipalities of Arras, Hamblain-les-Pras copyright S and St. Paul. Medieval and early modern period Before the Middle Ages. In the 4th century, Nemetocenna was renowned for its arts and crafts as well as textiles trade throughout the whole empire. Between 406 and 407, the city was taken and destroyed by Germanic invaders. In 428, the Salian Franks led by Clodion Le Chevelu took control of the region including the current Somme department. Roman general Aetius then chose to negotiate for peace and concluded a treaty with Clodion that gave the Franks the status of a federation fighting for Rome. The townspeople were converted to Christianity in the late 4th century by Saint Innocent, who was killed in 410 during a barbarian attack on the town. In 499, after the conversion of Clovis I to Catholicism, a diocese was created in Arras, the Roman Catholic Diocese of Arras, and given to Saint Vaast, who remains the diocesan patron saint. Saint Vaast then established an episcopal see and a monastic community. It was suppressed in 580 to found the Roman Catholic Diocese of Cambrai, from which it would re-emerge 5 centuries later. Early Middle Ages, in 667 Saint Aubert, Bishop of Cambrai, decided to found the Abbey of Saint Vaast, which developed during the Carolingian period into an immensely wealthy Benedictine abbey. The modern town of Arras initially spread around the abbey as a grain market. During the 9th century, both town and abbey suffered from the attacks of the Vikings, who later settled to the west in Normandy. The abbey revived its strength in the 11th century and played an important role in the development of medieval painting, successfully synthesizing the artistic styles of Carolingian, Etonian and English art. High Middle Ages. In 1025, a Catholic council was held at Arras against certain Manichaean heretics who rejected the sacraments of the Church. In 1093, the bishopric of Arras was refounded on territory split from the Diocese of Cambrai. In 1097 two councils, presided over by Lambert d'Oras, dealt with questions concerning monasteries and persons consecrated to God. In this time, Arras became an important cultural centre, especially for the group of poets who came to be known as trouveres. One particular society of such poets was later called the Fouillards. The wool industry and trade. The town was granted a commercial charter by the French crown in 1180 and became an internationally important location for banking and trade. The wool industry of Arras, established in the 4th century, became of great importance during the Middle Ages. Already in the 3rd century Romans had lauded about the quality of wool from Tournai and Arras. By the 11th century Arras was the leading city and trading hub of the wool industry. This prominence would eventually shift towards areas north of Arras, and cities such as Lille, Douai and Saint-Omer, followed by Ypres and eventually Bruges would become the centres of the wool industry and trade. However, by the 14th century Arras still was renowned and drew considerable wealth from the cloth and wool industry, and was particularly well known for its production of fine tapestries so much so that in English and Italian the word Arras was adopted to refer to tapestries in general. The patronage of wealthy cloth merchants ensured that the town became an important cultural centre, with major figures such as the poet Jean Bodel and the trouvere Adam de la Halle making their homes in Arras. Late Middle Ages, the ownership of the town was repeatedly disputed along with the rest of Artois. During the Middle Ages, possession of Arras passed to a variety of feudal rulers and fiefs, including the County of Flanders, the Duchy of Burgundy, the Spanish branch of the House of Habsburg and the French crown. In 1430, Joan of Arc was imprisoned in the region of Arras. The town was the site of the Congress of Arras in 1435, an unsuccessful attempt to end the 100 Years' War that resulted in the Burgundians breaking their alliance with the English. After the death of Duke Charles the Bold of Burgundy in 1477, King Louis XI of France took control of Arras, but the town's inhabitants, still loyal to the Burgundians, expelled the French. This prompted Louis XI to besiege Arras in person and, after taking it by assault, he had the town's walls razed and its inhabitants expelled, to be replaced by more loyal subjects from other parts of France. In a bid to erase the town's identity completely, Louis renamed it temporarily to Franchise. In 1482, the Peace of Arras was signed in the town to end a war between Louis XI and Maximilian I of Austria. 10 years later, the town was ceded to Maximilian. It was eventually bequeathed to the Spanish Habsburgs as part of the Spanish Netherlands. Renaissance. Arras remained under Habsburg rule from 1493 until 1640 when it was captured by the French. The Spanish ceded it by the peace treaty in 1659 and it has since remained French. The Union of Utrecht was signed here in January 1579 by the Catholic principalities of the Low Countries that remained loyal to King Philip II of Habsburg. It provoked the declaration of the Union of Utrecht later the same month. Modern period French Revolution. Maximilien de Robespierre, a French lawyer and politician from Arras and one of the best-known and most influential figures of the French Revolution, was elected 5th deputy of the Third Estate of Artois to the Estates General in 1789. During the French Revolution, the city of Arras was first presided over by French reformer Dubois de Forsyth, erudite squire, secretary of the Arras district and future president of the Pas-de-Calais department. Around the same time, competing against Aix-sur-la-Lys, Calais and Saint-Omer, Arras won the prefecture of Pas-de-Calais. From September 1793 to July 1794, During the Reign of Terror, the city was under the supervision of Joseph Leban, who implemented food restrictions, ordered 400 executions and destroyed several religious monuments including the Arras Cathedral and the Abbey of St. Vaast. Arras' demography and economic activity remained the same throughout the French Revolution while Lille's grew exponentially. In 1898, under the influence of Mayor Permil-Mal-Legral, some of Arras' ramparts were demolished to build vast boulevards, establish a new sewage system and replace the old railway station from 1846. World Wars World War I During most of the First World War, Arras was about 10 kilometers away from the front line, and a series of battles were fought around the city and nearby at the Vimy Ridge. On August 31, 1914, German light cavalry arrived in Tilloy-les-Mouflaines, and an army patrol made a foray into Arras. On September 6, 1914, 3,000 soldiers led by General Hans Jahr Gen von Arnim barracked within the city and in the Arras citadel. Shortly after, Louis-Ernest de Mauduit's soldiers partly repelled the German army troops, and trenches were dug in the faubourgs d'Arras. On October 7, 1914, the Arras City Hall burned. On October 21, 1914, the belfry was destroyed, and so was the Arras Cathedral on July 6, 1915. In 1917, a series of medieval tunnels beneath the city, linked and greatly expanded by the New Zealand Tunnelling Company, became a decisive factor in the British forces holding the city. By the end of World War I, the city was so heavily damaged that 3/4 had to be rebuilt. The reconstruction was extremely costly, yet it proved to be a success and allowed the city to expand. World War II In the early stages of the Second World War, during the invasion of France in May 1940, the city was the focus of a major British counterattack. Arras was an Allied counterattack against the flank of the German army. The German forces were pushing north toward the Channel coast, in order to entrap the Allied forces that were advancing east into Belgium. The counterattack at Arras was an Allied attempt to cut through the German spearhead and frustrate the German advance. Although the Allies initially made gains, they were repulsed by German forces and forced to withdraw to avoid encirclement. Arras was then occupied by the Germans and 240 suspected French resistance members were executed in the Arras citadel. On September 3, 1944, the city was entered and liberated by the British Guards Armoured Division. Contemporary period Recent cooperative agreement. In September 1993, Ipswich and Arras became twin towns, and a square inch the new Ipswich Butler Market development was named Arras Square to mark the relationship. Geography Localization and area Arras is located in northern France in the Nord-Pas-de-Calais region. Nord-Pas-de-Calais is divided in two departments, Nord and Pas-de-Calais. Arras is in the southeast part of the Pas-de-Calais department and forms the Arras district in the Artois, a former province of northern France. By car, it is 182 kilometers north of Paris, 110 kilometers east of the English Channel, 152 kilometers south of Brussels, and 335 kilometers south of Amsterdam. The city's total area is 1163 hectares per 11.63 square kilometers. The lowest point in the city is at 52 meters above sea level and the highest is at 99 meters. Geology The soil of Arras is primarily composed of chalk, a soft, white, porous sedimentary rock that formed what is called the European stratigraphic unit. That chalk group deposited during the late Cretaceous period 90 million years ago. It used to be extracted to construct the most prestigious buildings and houses of Arras. As a result, residents once nicknamed the city La Ville Blanche. The Arras area's soil is also composed of clay, which was used to produce bricks, build less noble buildings, and embellish four-sectionades. Clay is mostly found in the Ludit of La Terrasse Potier in the western part of the city. The level of earthquake hazard in the Arras area is low, as is it in the whole Pas-de-Calais department. Hydrography Two rivers flow through Arras, the Scarpe and the Contraction, both left tributary of the 350-kilometer-long European river called the Scheldt. The Contraction is a rather small river of 19 kilometers flowing through Arras underground, while the Scarpe is 102 kilometers long, of which two-thirds has been turned into canals. The source of the Scarpe is at Bels-Montreuil near Aubergny in Artois. It flows through the cities Arras, Douai and Saint-Amand-les-Eaux. The river ends at Mortain du Nord where it flows into the Scheldt. The river and its valley were important battlegrounds in the First World War. Climate Arras mainly experiences a Western European oceanic climate affected by the North Atlantic current due to its proximity of the English Channel. The city's climate is characterized by frequent rains in all seasons, and temperatures throughout the year are mild because of the proximity of the sea. The thermal amplitude is generally low. However, the city can sometimes endure brief cold temperatures as it is at the crossroads between oceanic and continental influences. Therefore, the region's climate can also be referred as semi-oceanic. Summer days are usually moderately warm and agreeable with average temperatures hovering between 13 and 23 degrees Celsius, and a fair amount of sunshine. Yet the temperature occasionally rises above 30 degrees Celsius. Some years have even witnessed some unusual long periods of harsh summer weather, such as the heat wave of 2003 where temperatures exceeded 30 degrees Celsius for weeks, reaching 38 degrees Celsius on some days and rarely even cooling down at night. Spring and fall have rather warm days and fresh nights, but remain quite unstable. Winter days are cold but generally above freezing with temperatures around 2 degrees Celsius. Sunshine is usually scarce. Light night frosts are common as the temperature often fall below 0 degrees Celsius. Snowfall has been rare in the past decade but happens depending on the year, such as in the winter of 2009-10, which led to atypical cold weather, and caused many parts of Europe to experience heavy snowfall and record low temperatures. The most recent warmest winters recorded were in 1989 1994 95. 2006 07 and 2013 14. The Arras region had remarkably warm and sunny weather in the winter of 2013 14. Rain falls throughout the year. Average annual precipitation is 61.88 mm with light rainfall fairly distributed throughout the year. The highest recorded temperature is 36.6 degrees Celsius, and the lowest is 19.5 degrees Celsius. On October 28, 2013, Cyclone Christian, one of the strongest extratropical cyclones ever recorded, hit northern Europe including the Arras area. The cyclone's central pressure was 981 megabytes, and wind speeds reached a maximum of 121 km per hour. The city of Arras did not experience any major damage though. Population and society. Demographics as of 2012, the population of Arras is 43,693 for a density of 3,756.92 people per square kilometre. The residents go by the name of Arrageois and Aragonois. The population is rather young as the highest number of residents is 15 to 29 of age. The most recent male-to-female ratio is 100 to 113, and the female-to-male ratio is 100 to 89. There are 20,198 males for 22,474 females. The Arras metropolitan area has a population of 124,200. Religion Arras is Basilique Catholic. Copyright Rail Notre Dame et Saint Vaast is the cathedral, a minor basilica, episcopal see of the Roman Catholic Diocese of Arras. Education Arras is part of the Acada copyright Maida-Lille. There are 11 copyright écoles maternelles, 11 copyright écoles primaires, 8 colleges and 7 liquor copywriters within the city. Sites and attractions. The squares the city centre is marked by 2 large squares, La Grande Place and La Place des Arts Copyright Rose, also called La Petite Place. The 2 squares are surrounded by a unique architectural ensemble of 155 Flemish Baroque-style townhouses. These were built in the 17th and 18th century and were initially made of wood. In 1918, after the end of World War I, most of the townhouses were so severely damaged that they had to be restored to their pre-war conditions. they now made of bricks. Equals the town hall and its belfry equals, the Gothic town hall and its belfry were constructed between 1463 and 1554 and had to be rebuilt in a slightly less grandiose style after World War I. The belfry is 75 meters high and used to serve as a watchtower. Nowadays tourists can enjoy ascending the belfry. Equals the Cathedral of Arras equals, the original cathedral was constructed between 1030 and 1396 and was one of the most beautiful Gothic structures in northern France. It was destroyed during the French Revolution and rebuilt in the 19th century. The present Cathedral Basilique Catholic copyright Trail Notre Dame et Saint Vaast is a minor basilica. Equals the Boves equals, the Boves, a well-preserved underground network of tunnels, 10 meters beneath the city, was built in the 10th century and can now be visited by tourists. The idea was to set up a vast underground network to make all inhabitants cellars interconnect by means of tunnels. Excavation material was not wasted but rather used to construct houses. During World War I and World War II, the Boves was utilized as an underground bunker to hide and protect residents and valued objects from falling bombs. Equals the Art District equals, the Art District is renowned for its Italian-style theatre hall built in 1785 and the Hôtel de Grès registered trademark Nes, a private 18th-century townhouse that attracts artists, designers and producers of intimist shows. Equals the Abbey District equals, many of Arras's most remarkable structures, including the Musée copyright des Beaux-Arts d'Arras and several government buildings, occupy the site of the old Abbey of St. Vaast. The Abbey's church was demolished and rebuilt in fashionable classical style in 1833, and now serves as the town's cathedral. The design was chosen by the one-time abbot of St. Vaast, the Cardinal de Rohan, and is stark in its simplicity, employing a vast number of perpendicular angles. There is a fine collection of statuary within the church and it houses a number of religious relics. Equals the Vauban Citadel equals, built by Vauban between 1667 and 1672, the citadel has been nicknamed La Belle Inutile by residents as it has never been directly involved in heavy fighting and didn't prevent the Germans from occupying the city in either World War. Since July 7, 2008 it has been part of the UNESCO World Heritage Sites Fortifications of Vauban, which includes 11 other fortifications. Within the citadel on the side of La Place de Marne-Ouvre a small Baroque-style chapel was built. Outside, La Mort des Fusiliers copyright pays tribute to the 218 members of the French resistance shot in the citadel's ditch during World War II. Equals seasonal events equals, Arras holds the biggest Christmas market north of Paris every year from the end of November to the end of December. Around 80 exhibitors offer a wide selection of arts and crafts, as well as local delicacies like chocolate rats, Atrades copyright baked beer and Coeurs d'Arras are heart-shaped biscuits which come in two flavors, ginger and cheese. Entertainment includes cooking lessons with chefs, craft demonstrations, a merry-go-round, a Ferris wheel, an ice skating rink and heated shelters. It also offers native products from international locations such as Canada, Vietnam, Morocco, Indonesia, Africa and gourmet regional specialities from different parts of France, Auvergne, Savoy, southwestern France and Nord-Pas-de-Calais. The main square festival is held for several days in early July within the Vauban Citadel, attracting tens of thousands of attendees and playing host to major acts such as the Chemical Brothers, Coldplay, Imagine Dragons, David Guetta and the Black Eyed Peas. The Festival International du Film d'Arras is a popular film festival held for 10 days in November. Le Jardin Botanique Floralpina is a private botanical garden, specializing in alpine plants. It opens every year on the last Sunday of May and can be visited by appointment. UNESCO recognition equals, two buildings in Arras are listed as UNESCO World Heritage Sites, the Belfry of the Town Hall, as part of the Belfries of Belgium and France group, since 2005, the Vauban Citadel, as part of the Fortifications of Vauban group, since 2008. Outside Arras equals, the Vimy Memorial is a memorial just north of the town honoring a major World War I battle, the Battle of Vimy Ridge, which marked the first time Canada fielded an entire army of her own. 4 Canadian divisions fought there on Easter weekend 1917. The Battle of Vimy Ridge was part of the broader Allied offensive in April known as the Battle of Arras. Vimy was the only victory the Allies would enjoy during their 1917 spring offensive. The Basilica of Notre-Dame de Lorette Cemetery, overlooking the nearby village of Ablain-Saint-Nazaire, likewise stands before one of France's largest World War I necropolises. Part of an extensive network of tunnels dug in World War I by British Empire soldiers can be visited at the Carrier-Wellington Museum in the suburbs. Transportation Railway station The Gare d'Arras railway station is served by a purpose-built branch of the LGV Nord high-speed railway, with regular TGV services to Paris. There are also regular trains to Lille, Amiens, Dunkirk and several regional destinations. TGV lines, Line Saint-Omer/Dunkirk Euro-Lens Euro-Arras Euro-Paris Nord, Line Valognes Euro-Douai Euro-Arras Euro-Paris Nord, Line Lille Euro-Europea Euro-Lyon Euro-Marseille, Line Lille Euro-Europea Euro-Rennes, Line Lille Euro-Europea Euro-Nantes Euro-Saint-Nazaire, Line Lille Euro-Europea Euro-Bordeaux. TER Nord-Pas-de-Calais lines, Line 2, Lille Euro-Douai Euro-Arras Euro-Amiens Euro-Rouen, Line 6, Arras Euro-Hazebrouck Euro-Dunkirk, Line 7, Arras Euro-Hazebrouck Euro-Calais, Line 14, Arras Euro-Saint-Paul-sur-Tennessee Euro-Étaples Euro-Boulogne-sur-Mer, Line Lille Euro-Arras. Highway Autoroute A1 is a tollway that connects Arras with Lille and Paris. As part of the European Inter-Country Route E15, it also connects Arras with the United Kingdom and Spain as well as the northern and southern parts of France. Autoroute A26 connects Arras with Calais and Reims. Personalities of Arras. Arras was one of the centres of Trouvère poetry, and trouvères from Arras include, Adam de la Halle, Andrew Contredat d'Arras, Audifroy la based art, de Margot, de Maroy, Goya de Vadavian, Guillaume Lavigne, Jacques Lavigne, Jean Bretel, Jean Le Cuvier d'Arras, Jean Nerat, Marie Degant, Moniot d'Arras, Robert de Castel, Robert de Lapierre. Arras was the birthplace of Matthias of Arras, architect, Antoine de Far copyright Van, composer, Charles de la Permel-Cluse, doctor and pioneering botanist, Philippe Roger, composer, Maximilien de Robespierre, French revolutionary leader, Joseph Le Bon, politician, Huguenot. Frena Section Vidocq, one of the first modern private investigators, Lucien Gordon, fencing champion, Gabriel Hanot, journalist, Violette Leduc, author, Jean-Christophe Novelli, chef and restaurateur, Binauer registered trademark Tiassa Iconto, footballer, Jean-Pierre Arras, footballer. International relations Twin towns sister cities Arras is twinned with, Ipswich, United Kingdom, Oudenarde. See also, Battles of Arras, for a list of battles named after the city. Abbey of St. Vast, Lion and Son. Other variants, Marcel Gourmand sculpture in Cathedral. References, INSEE Commune File. This article incorporates text from a publication now in the public domain. Herbermann, Charles, ed. Arras. Catholic Encyclopedia. Robert Appleton Company. External links, information and pictures about Arras, demographic statistics of Arras, fortifications of Arras, in and around Arras. Pages 45 47. Discover Pas-de-Calais, inside the amazing cave city that housed 25,000 Allied troops under German noses in WWI, rebuilding Arras after WW1. Old and new ideas on the website Remembrance Trail of the Great War in Northern France. Article on Arras War Memorial. Sculptor Félix Alexander Desruelles.